What's up guys, welcome back to another GGF video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the very affordable P8 tempered glass chassis from Antec. But before we jump in and take a look, we'll have a quick word from our sponsor. With its unmatched processing power, the Redripper is the ultimate platform for PC enthusiasts. With the Redripper, ASRock brings you the perfect companion, the ASRock X399 Taichi motherboard supporting 4-way SLI and crossfire configurations, triple Ultra M.2 sockets, 8 SATA 3 with U2 connector gives you unlimited expansion possibilities, featuring ASRock's iconic Taichi heatsink design, extra VRM cooling, IR digital PWM with 11-phase power for rock solid stability. All this with its competitive price makes it the perfect X399 solution. For more information, head to asrock.com. First off, I want to point out that the Antec P8 retails for 85 Australian dollars. That's right, 85 bucks. For this, you're getting some pretty good water cooling support, tempered glass side panel, PSU cover, and front LED Antec logo. As per usual, I'll be focusing this review heavily on water cooling support in the P8. Taking a quick look around the P8, Antec has gone with a sleek design and the case is made out of a mixture of steel for the internal frame and ABS plastic for the exterior. The tempered glass side panel comes in at 3mm thick with about a medium graded tint. The rear side panel is non-glass and uses standard steel side panel. Antec are offering an additional side panel available for purchase if you wish to have both sides tempered glass. The cost is about $30 Australian if you wish to grab one. I do like this idea as it makes the case's base cost cheaper. Also included in the P8 are 3 120mm white LED fans pre-installed. 2 at the front and 1 at the rear. Antec state that these fans are high static pressure fans as well. Just remember, this case retails for $85, so not bad at all. Radiator support, there's room for a 360mm radiator at the front with a max thickness of 45mm if you install the fans inside the front panel for a push configuration. Radiator size will be restricted to 30mm thick if you install the radiator fans on the inside of the case in a pull configuration. Just a note, if you wish to use the fans in a push radiator configuration, the front dust filter needs to be removed. Front ventilation isn't too bad with air being sucked in from the left side only and the bottom. The ventilation gaps are quite generous in these two areas. The front panel is also removable with a pop-out dust filter as well. Top radiator support is up to 240mm and thickness is limited. Even a standard all-in-one cooler is obstructing the dim slots. Due to very low motherboard clearance, I recommend using the top for exhaust fans only. There's also a removable magnetic dust filter up the top. Rear of the P8 supports a 120mm radiator only. All locations bar the rear use slots rather than holes, which I think is a must on cases these days, just for the ability to move and adjust radiators if needed. Motherboard support is up to standard ATX and a rather interesting cable routing shroud is added, which hides the bulk of your cables. The only issue I find with this shroud is if your motherboard's 24 pin is relatively high up, the shroud simply does not go that far. There's 2 more cable holes along the top of the motherboard tray and just 1 in the PSU cover, which should cover most of your motherboard's bottom edge connectors. Storage support is decent with a hard drive cage down below catering for 2 3.5-inch hard drive caddies or 2 SSDs instead. Also, when installing a 45mm thick radiator in the front, this cage does not get in the way and doesn't need to be removed. Thumbs up for that. More storage options include 2 2.5-inch SSD trays above the PSU shroud, which are removable, and 2 more 2.5-inch SSD trays around the back. Plenty of options for various case configurations. Max PSU length is up to 240mm, which should cater for most. I can't see someone installing a 1500 watt monster in a case like this. The hard drive cage can also slide, allowing room for longer power supplies. There's also a removable dust filter for the PSU as well. Front I/O is on the left edge of the front, which I like. Pretty standard layout here with audio ports, 2 USB 3.0, power and reset buttons with power and hard drive LEDs. Cable management around the back is a little tight with around 15mm of space, but if you aren't installing any hard drives down the bottom, you can utilize that space as well. And yes, of course we did a water cooled build in the P8, so let's jump in and have a look at it. Now some other things I haven't covered in the P8 yet are the dimensions come in at 443 high by 210 wide by 470 deep. So it is a relatively small case. You also get a 2-year warranty, which is good to see. And I haven't covered GPU length. Now you can see in the build that I've done here, it does have a 1080 Ti, so that is a pretty long card. And you can see I've got plenty of room to go. You can fit a 60mm thick rad if you are interested, but it will have to be a 240mm radiator because you can't fit the 60mm width down into the bottom power supply chamber. They just haven't made the little cutout long enough. So if you are looking at that, 240 60mm only sort of up the top area, and 360 will have to be a bit thinner. Now some other things, some of the issues I ran into, it wasn't all smooth sailing. You can probably expect that with an $85 case. I did mention earlier in the video, you can fit fans on the inside of this cover in the middle here, but you can't fit one right down on the bottom here. So if you're doing a 240 configuration, you can fit 2 up here, no worries, but down the bottom where you see the Antec little LED logo light up, there's an actual module in there, and the box, little plastic box, sort of protrudes out too far and it fails a fan for being installed in there. So if you do want to sort of rip that module out, you can definitely fit the 3 fans, but as stock, as the case comes, you can't fit a fan right down the bottom. It's just a few millimeters too small, and you can't snap the cover back on. Now you do get 7 PCIe slots with this case, but only one of those comes with the little slot cover. All the others are those little push out ones. So once you push it out, you have no cover to install back on. So just keep note of that. It's probably not going to be a concern for too many people. Antec have probably done it to keep the price down. So just don't, when you get this case, pop out all the covers, because then you're just going to have all holes at the back. You do get all the spare screws. So if you are putting a few video cards in, you don't have to find your own screws, but you just don't have those slot covers. Also, lastly, I want to cover the cable routing holes. Now you can see earlier in the video that I would have really liked that shroud that sort of runs in the middle to go a little bit higher, because as you saw, the 24 pin on most boards is sort of more towards the top, and the 24 pin I had to have like a sort of a dog leg in to go in that shroud. Maybe some more holes in the power supply shroud or the cover here. There is only one, but I must admit it is going to be a bit tricky to put more holes in here, because you remember your power supply comes to say about here, and then your hard drive cage starts about here. So there's really not much area to put extra more routing holes in there. And lastly, cable routing around the back was a bit tight. I did end up using the hard drive area if you want to take the cage out. So that definitely does allow for quite a few cables in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it on this review. Very, very happy for this case. $85, can't really get much better than that, especially with the tempered glass side panel. I want to thank Antec for sending this out to review. I also want to thank ASRock, Bits Power and Cable Mod for supporting this build. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for next time.